All right, big shout out over to McKeen's Hockey, who went out there and tweeted this earlier yesterday about how, in their opinion, the Detroit Red Wings boast the #1 prospect pool in the entire NHL, with future stars like Simon Edvinsson, Nate Danielson, and Marco Kasper leading the charge. Stay tuned for the upcoming release of McKeen's 2024 NHL Prospect Report, including the full article on the Wings prospects written by Josh Bell 31, featuring in-depth scouting reports and exclusive insights. Now, the Wings and their fans are getting a big treat here because McKeen's went out there and said that, yeah, Detroit's got the #1 prospect pool. And following up with this, McKeen's themselves posted up what was the list of the top 10 prospects on the #1 prospect pool. It's pretty great for content because it allows all of us as Red Wings fans to go out there and acknowledge who is on the list, go over each of them in a video format, and I'll admit, this entire screen-grabbing video is a lot easier to do than the regular old gameplay commentary with the screenshots and everything. Also, the reason why I wanted to make this video in particular is because with the release of this list, with the acknowledgement that in McKeen's Hockey's opinion, Detroit has the #1 prospect pool, you did have a whole bunch of Montreal Canadiens fans going out there and getting pissed off about this, and it garnered a bunch of discussion too. So we'll talk about this in another video, but for now, what I wanted to do was focus on the top 10 Detroit Red Wings prospects. Starting out with number 10, we have Dmitri Buchelnikov of SKA St. Petersburg in the KHL. Now, Buchelnikov is 20 years old, 5'10", right-handed left-wing guy who was drafted by the Wings in the 52nd overall spot 2 seasons ago in 2022. This year in the KHL, he had 29 points in 55 games played. That's a very good point production metric for a guy who is only 20. According to EP Ringside, he is a speedy winger with the ability to bounce off of his line mates, a flashy, offense-first player. And we have made our few videos talking about Dmitri Buchelnikov and the profile he exhibited, just how good he was in different levels in Russia. His VHL campaign with SKA Neva St. Petersburg saw him put up 12 points in 10 games, over a point per game in the second-tier Russian league, which is totally awesome. So heading into next season, if he gets a full-time role with SKA St. Petersburg and he is not loaned out to a different KHL team, who knows how well he's going to be able to produce, but if he does get loaned out to some other team like Admiral Vladistovak, like he had been earlier this season, then hey, there could be some good opportunity for him to go out there and produce a lot more points. We'll just have to wait and see. Going over to the 9th best prospect in the Red Wing system, you have yourselves Shai Buium out of the Grand Rapids Griffins, as it's listed over here, because he did indeed sign and he did indeed make his way over to the team. He had 1 game played, 0 points, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, 36 points in 43 games is what we're looking at here, as Shai Buium, left-handed defenseman, 6'3", 220, big dude out of San Diego, California. Obviously, he's the older brother of Zeev Buium, who is going to be one of the top prospects in this year's draft. But Shai is just an absolute powerhouse of a player, already wrapped up 3 seasons at the NCAA before signing to play with Grand Rapids. He has been an absolute force, and the growth out of this guy, especially as a 2021 second-rounder, has been pretty extraordinary. I'm not saying that Shai is going to be a guaranteed NHL player down the line, but if he can squeak into a few games here and there, that's certainly some good value out of a guy in the second round 3 years ago. The scouting report goes out there and talks about how he's got some quick and deceptive feet, his changes of pace, fake shots, eye deception. He's a pretty tricky player to get a handle on if you're an opponent of his. He does give and goes really well with a space-filling mentality, and that allows him to create scoring chances for himself or his teammates. Moving over to the 8th best prospect in the Red Wing system, you have yourselves out of the Griffins, William Wallinder, and this is a really good name as well. You want to talk about defensemen who've got elusive skating? Yeah, Wallinder is right there. He's arguably got the best feet out of Red Wings prospects right now, and even though the point production doesn't really match that, hey, he only has 15 points in 65 games played, this is a guy who, as he develops and gets better in pro hockey in North America, the sky could really be the limit because his overall foot speed, his deception, his ability to use his edges, he is one of the best skaters the Wings have, and it's represented very well on the 8th overall spot here. Moving over to number 7, we have to start speeding through these because we've only got 5 minutes left in the video. Carter Mazur is the 7th best prospect out of the Red Wings system playing for the Grand Rapids Griffins, 37 points in 60 games played, but he's a point-per-game guy for Grand Rapids in the playoffs. Very good showcase out of the 22-year-old, 6 feet, 172 right-handed left-wing player drafted by the Wings in the 3rd round in 2021. Mazur is one of these guys who just works hard, he gets some points, he puts them up on the board. He might not have the flashiest production, but he's a very capable and very noteworthy player. It's what made him a very notable force for the Denver Pioneers last season in 22-23, en route to an NCAA championship. So he knows what it's like to win, he's got that experience, he's helping out Grand Rapids right now, and if Mazur is able to become, let's say, a bottom to middle 6 defensively minded depth option, that's a pretty good thing to get out of the 3rd round for Detroit. So Mazur certainly is one of these guys that you should be paying attention to. But he is not the top-ranked prospect. If you go one higher, 6th overall is Trey Augustine, whom we had just talked about a bunch over the past few months here. He's at the World Championships right now. He's tearing the scene down. He's gotten himself a .929 save percentage in 4 games played. 189 goals against, but he's 2-2. Come on, Team USA, you gotta go out there and get this guy some wins here. Because still, even in the games where he's going out there and losing, I mean, 889 save percentage, not the worst decision in the world. He's going out there and absolutely torching the competition. Against Poland, he had a 952. Look at that, eh? Trey Augustine is doing some work. He's probably the second, maybe even the top, it depends on who you ask, best goaltending prospect in the Red Wings system. You have Sebastian Cossa listed at number 5 on this list, who is arguably number 1 or number 2. 21 years old, 6'6", he's in the Grand Rapids Griffin system. He has an 882 right now in the playoffs. Not great, but he's still going out there and getting some wins despite the numbers not really being all too fantastic. I mean, he had a 926 in the opening game against the Milwaukee Admirals, and he did have some better games throughout the Rockford series, but at the end of the day, the progression for Cossa to go from a 913 in the ECHL to a 913 in the AHL is, in and of itself, very good to see. You want to see Sebastian Cossa go out there and exhibit that growth, considering he was the first goalie taken in the 2021 draft before Jesper Wallstedt. Stevie Yzerman really put his foot in the ground with Sebastian Cossa as the guy. Maybe it was the height. Maybe that's why they ended up taking him before Wallstedt. But going over to the top 4 prospects in the Red Wings system, number 4, you have yourselves Axel, Sandin, Pellikka, whom we've been making a bunch of videos about because, man oh man, is this guy just an absolute stud. Right-handed defenseman, 5'11", 181, and he was drafted by the Wings in the 17th overall spot in 2023. He had 18 points in 39 games played in the SHL this season and 7 points in 14 games in the playoffs. And just look at the hardware that he has gotten already. The TV Puckin silver medal, the Hlinka Gretzky silver medal, World Junior Under-18 silver medal, World Junior silver medal, one-time SHL champion, and then a bunch of all-star teams that he was named to as well. Axel Sandin Pellikka has been an absolute stud, and we're all just eagerly anticipating what he'll be able to do in his 3rd full season with Skellefteå AIK and his 2nd season after being drafted. Going over to the top 3 prospects, though, 3rd overall, you have yourselves Marco Kasper, currently playing for Grand Rapids, doing some pretty good things. 5 points in 6 games in the postseason and 35 points in 71 games in the regular season. So Kasper has really progressed forward and taken on more responsibility as a member of the Grand Rapids Griffins. If he could be a top 6 two-way defensively minded center, then I think you're pretty happy with the pick. Sure, you could debate that at 8th overall in 2022, Kasper may not have been the highest upside pick that you could have made, but still, he's gone out there, he's doing his thing, he is a top prospect, and alongside a Nate Danielson at number 2, who is also on the Grand Rapids Griffins, if these guys could round out as potential two-way forces down the middle long term, then I think the Red Wings are going to be pretty satisfied with that. Danielson was taken 9th overall in 2023, the year after Kasper, and he is coming off of 1 game played in the playoffs for Grand Rapids with 0 points. He did look pretty good according to some of the reports that I had seen, but of course everybody looks at Nate Danielson's WHL production to see where his offensive value comes through. 41 points, 28 games played in the regular season, 24 points in 18 games in the playoffs before getting eliminated in the conference finals. So Nate Danielson certainly has progressed in ways that we didn't expect, but he is not the number one prospect. That honor belongs to Simon Edvinsson, and that is not surprising. The number one prospect here for the Red Wings in the number one ranked NHL prospect pool. Edvinsson is going to be an absolute stud. He was already great with Detroit heading into the end of the season. Next year, he's got a full-time spot, guaranteed. He is definitely good enough. I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about this list of the top 10 Detroit Red Wings prospects. Buchelnikov, Buium, Wallinder, Mazur, Augustine, Cossa, Axel, Sandin, Pellikka, Kasper, Danielson, and Simon Edvinsson. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.